Head of the NPP parliamentary primaries on Saturday, June 13, and Battle Chairman Paul Afoko is calling for the spirit of togetherness among members. He says delegates must bear in mind the need to choose candidates who will project the true values of the party. So, across the country, who are those who possess these qualities, and how are preparations wrapping up ahead of the crucial vote? Battered by the death of his Upper East Regional Chairman, how will the party forge ahead after the primaries? We are talking NPP politics tonight. This is today's big story with me, Stephen Anti. Let's start from the Volta region, where 2,283 delegates from 26 constituencies are expected to vote in the primaries there. 51 out of the 63 persons who filed nominations were given the nod to contest, including 5 females, aspirants from 6 constituencies: Kpando, Agotema Ziofe, Akachi North, North Tong, Afajato South, and Anglong constituencies are going unopposed. There will be no elections in the Ketu North, Ho Central, in Kwanta South, North Dai, and Krachi in Chumuru constituencies. Joseph Homenya is the NPP Volta Regional Secretary.
From the vetting report, we allow it 51 people contesting. Some few fall out as a result of some issues. Some were unable to file as at the close of the filing period, so they are not participating. So at the end of the day, we had 6 constituencies that people are going unopposed. These constituencies are Kpando, Agotime Ziofe, Anglong, Afajato South, Akachi North, and North Tong. Ketu, we don't have much problem. Currently, 5 of the constituencies are not going to have their elections tomorrow. Ketu happened to be one. We received a letter from them asking us to postpone their election to 1st August. And looking at the issues they tabled, we granted them that opportunity. I mean, the region together with National granted them that opportunity to have theirs on the 1st of August. As you are aware, in Kwanta South have been on hold. Whole Central is still in court. We are yet to complete the court process. As soon as we had our way, we will conduct elections at Whole Central. We also have Northern. We are also not going for elections on Saturday, that's tomorrow.
Because of legal issue?
No legal issue. So because of some strategic reasons, some ongoing negotiation, which applies to that of Kwanta South. Then Krachi in Chumuru. We realized that when the ballot papers were brought, one of the candidates had an issue, so his picture was not on the nominations form.
Well, the Volta region is not particularly a favorite region for the NPP, but Mr. Homanya says the regional secretariat is poised to winning at least 3 parliamentary seats in the 2016 general elections. Let's now go there to the Volta region and speak to our correspondent, Fred Kwame Asare, who is on the line now. Good evening, Fred.
Good evening, Steve.
So I know that the Volta region is not particularly an interesting place where the NPP is hopeful of getting sufficient seats. They are targeting 3. Do you think it looks good for these 3 areas? Can you tell us, if you know, what regions, or sorry, what constituencies they are targeting to win?
Okay, speaking to the regional secretary, that is Joseph Homenya, he was specific, as in he didn't mention the constituencies, but according to him, he was like in the south. It will be in the to be in the northern part of the region.
So when you say north, you mean Jasikang areas and that side of Volta region.
Yeah.
Right. So knowing also that the party is not particularly very strong in the Volta region, what have you observed as some of the developments on the ground when it comes to when it comes to campaigning and party activities ahead of this primary?
Oh, okay. Ahead of the primaries, there was a meeting yesterday. The constituency executives, the secretaries and the constituency chairman came together to outline plans as to make sure they have a successful elections or primaries. So I should say for now everything is calm, and then the secretary confirmed that all ballot papers and then albums of delegates have been distributed to the various constituencies, that is the electoral commission officers in the constituency. So I should say everything is going according to plan.
Right. So have you been able to speak to any of the 51 candidates so far? You did, in your report, you told us that 51 out of 63 of the candidates, aspirants, have been given the nod to contest for various parliamentary positions in the party. Did you speak to any of them at all?
As of now, I couldn't get sure. I've been trying to speak to them and then see their expectations or get their expectations on the primaries, but then I couldn't get to any of them, but I'm still trying to see.
What about campaigning? How have you observed their campaign for the various candidates? Did they campaign at all?
Yeah, there were some campaigns in some constituencies. I should say there were posters clustered around in town, as in Hawkware, Mando, and then some other towns. So I should say campaigning has been rigorous.
What I needed really to understand from you is that we do know that for party level campaigns of this nature, individuals go from home to home convincing delegates to vote. Did you observe any particular trends that you could discuss with us?
Concerning that, I didn't really get any information on that. But I should say, since some aspirants decided to go from home to home, it's a good strategy. So I'm sure some of the aspirants did that, going from home to home and then campaigning, speaking to delegates on their dreams or what they wish to do for the party to help the NPP win power come 2016.
Right, Fred, we're grateful for your time on today's Big Story. Fred Kwame Asare is our Volta regional correspondent. Let's now move to the Eastern region, where candidates have been desperately going from house to house appealing at the last minute for delegates to vote for them. Although officially campaigning closed today, many more of the delegates are still pushing for the last-minute advantage. Our correspondent Kofi Siao now joins us live with some update. Good evening, Edwin.
Good evening, Steve.
So I know that you observed that some of the candidates have been going from home to home last minute. I mean, why did they need to do this desperate last-minute campaigning if indeed they did any campaigning on the ground at all?
Well, Steve, the information I'm taking from these aspirants is that they need to do so because you wouldn't know what your opponents or the other contestants will be doing as the day approaches. That is tomorrow for the election to take place. So it's as if everyone is scared of what the opponent will be doing in the last minute wrap-up, as they wrap up for the election. So they are all very much awake and they waiting and making sure that everybody, or they do everything possible to ensure that they win the elections tomorrow.
Right. So are you able to give us a breakdown of who are contesting, which areas, if there are any that you could share with us?
Well, Steve, unlike some other regions where some constituencies will not be voting, here in the Eastern region, all the 33 constituencies are voting tomorrow. And let me give you a breakdown of what will be taking place tomorrow, as in the number of delegates who will be voting and the number of aspirants who will be also contesting for the various positions for the various constituencies. In all, 17,000 delegates will be voting for 84 aspirants in the Eastern region. And this is how it goes. 16,920 polling station executives, 850 electoral area coordinators, 28 incumbent MPs, and 330 patrons and council of elders, including constituency executives. And let me put it this way, that in some of the constituencies, I'm getting information now that, for example, in Abuakwa North constituencies, some supporters of one of the candidates, who is John Amwa, contesting the incumbent JB Dankwa Amwa, have besieged the office of the EC in Kukwentumi. Their worry is that they've heard that the EC is conniving with the incumbent MPs and have removed some 19 names of delegates from the delegate list. So they are alleging that it will be very difficult for them to vote tomorrow. So that is the reason why they've besieged the office of the Electoral Commission to protest. That is the information I'm taking now. So I'm here to confirm from executives of the party in that constituency.
Right. Kovisi, we hope that you'll be keeping your eye on the ground and your ears also on the ground, so that you can get the most accurate information coming from the ground. But quickly, before you go, beyond these, are there any? I know that Eastern Region is a big hotbed for the NPP. Are there any flash points where there are troubles here and there brewing among party members, apart from what you just told us?
Well, I should say that one incident happened yesterday. An incident happened yesterday in Abuakwa South. That is the home of the flag bearer of the NPP. And yesterday he visited the area and mounted a campaign platform that was done by the incumbent MP. So the flag bearer was there. He was accompanied by some executives of the party, some top hierarchies of the party that include Hakman Owusu Ajiman, he's the former minister, and Nanaya Osafuma, also a minister, then Dr. Kwame Adokufo. Nanado said he was there on the invitation of Samuel Atachia, but he, as a leader of the party, couldn't campaign for Atachia. But what surprised most of the constituents is that those who accompanied Nana to the place were openly campaigning for Samuel Atachia. They indeed endorsed the candidature of Samuel Atachia. They said that Atachia qualifies to be a minister when Nana Akufo-Addo becomes the president of the country. So they should vote for him.
Right, Kofi, we will have to wrap up our conversation. Thanks very much for the update from the Eastern region. We're grateful. Let's now switch to the stronghold of the opposition in Ashanti region. Let's get onto the line now and speak to the Ashanti Regional Secretary of the NPP, Sam Pine. He's joining us. Good evening, Mr. Pine.
Yeah, good evening.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing good, and you?
I am fine, thank you. I know that the party is looking forward to a peaceful primaries tomorrow, and you're doing quite a lot as the stronghold of the opposition NPP to portray to the whole country the unity front your party so desperately wants everybody to know. Now, tell me how campaigning has gone and how it wrapped up today there in the region ahead of tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you very much. There's not been so much public gatherings as campaigning, and most of the candidates or the aspirants have been meeting them in groups or individually. Where one or two incidents where the talking was overboard, but generally we have a peaceful thing in Ashanti region. We're hopeful that tomorrow is going to be peaceful, because we'll try to do to everybody that yes, our success in 2016, our failure in 2016, a key factor is what happens tomorrow. And we are so circumspect of that.
Right. So which areas, which constituencies now for you as regional secretary, which constituencies appear to be the flashpoints where you need to watch so that there are no problems brewing there?
I can't point to a flashpoint, but I can point to where the competition is keen, especially in my own home constituency of the minority leader, where 3 other persons are contesting him, and about 2 or 3 other places. But as we speak, we cannot pinpoint to a flashpoint, because we met with the electoral commission, all the aspirants or their agents, regional officers, some consensus officers, and matters that usually bring up issues with elections. And internal elections are the registers, what we popularly call the R-forms. And we sorted these matters out on Wednesday with the electoral commission, and that we hope for that tomorrow is going to be so peaceful.
Right. So I do know that the national chairman, Paul Afoko, sent out a message to all the regions encouraging you to allow the spirit of togetherness to permeate everything you're going to do tomorrow. Now, I know that the party has come from all this trouble surrounding the unfortunate death of Mr. Adams Mahama, which almost sought to split the party up along factional lines. But looking ahead of what he's telling you, can you on authority say that you have been able to piece together all the disagreeing factions within your party to present a united front tomorrow and hopefully after the primaries are over?
That is something I've been drumming home to them. Nanado Dankwa Akufo-Addo, a flag bearer, and hopefully the president in 2017, also spoke about these things when he sent a message all around and delivered that speech. The national chairman, I believe, also said the same thing or similar thing. So as a party, as a political entity, we also circumspect, as I said earlier on, of what our actions or inactions towards tomorrow will be. And we've been drumming home to all the aspirants, all their supporters, and the delegates as well, that yes, matters cannot be left into the hands of people who wouldn't be doing what is right, and that they, as custodians of the heritage of the party, need to do the right things by behaving with decorum and also making sure that yes, it's not an individual affair, but it's a party affair.
Right. I also will give my last question before you go. Paul Afoko mentioned that the delegates should bear in mind that you're going to choose people who reflect the true values of the party. I mean, I know that all your people have different backgrounds going into the primary, but you surely must have favorites. Which ones come up to your mind readily if I ask you who you're hoping or confident that these...
Is that Ismail Evans?
No, that's Stephen Anti.
Stephen Anti. Steve, this is a very, very personal question. And as the regional secretary of the biggest opposition party and the heartbeat of the party, I cannot commit myself to pinpointing to my favorites. I have favorites, yes. I have people, I have friends that I work with, incumbent MPs that I work with and those that I know are working so hard and I believe should be still in Parliament. Are people who are also not MPs and I believe that they are also working very hard for the party to be in power. And definitely, I can't pinpoint to one person, and I'll be glad if you, as Jesus Christ said, you excuse me of the camp.
Right. So, I mean, you're not able to tell us the caliber of people who are going to
Well, if you want to ask about the caliber of people, I can tell you that yes, people with the blood of the NPP in them, people who are hardworking, people who wish the party to be in power, and people who always do the right things for the party. But as to point to individuals that I want Mr. A, Mr. B, Miss B, Miss W to be.
That one you cannot say. I appreciate your honesty, Mr. Sampine. We're grateful for your time on today's big story. Thanks very much, and we wish the NPP well in tomorrow's Congress, and we'll be bringing our viewers up-to-date coverage of the Delegates Congress, the primaries tomorrow, as the party chooses parliamentary candidates to present to the election 2016. Dr. Joseph Jackson is a political science lecturer at the University of Ghana. He's joining us now on the telephone. Dr. Jackson, good evening.
Good evening, but I think you've got a couple of things mixed up. First of all, good evening to all your listeners. My name is not Dr. Jackson, and I'm not a lecturer, but I'm still a political pundit all the same. So
that's fine. Thanks, Mr. Jackson, for the correction. Now, quickly, I know that the NPP has come from the background in the past few weeks of the unfortunate death of Adams Mahama, which created a certain division among the party, with people now calling for Paul Afoko and Kwabena Japon's head. Now, with all of this, it appears the party is pushing all of these behind and forging ahead for tomorrow's primaries. What are your predictions?
Well, before I even talk about predictions, there's one thing that is absolutely clear at the moment, that the fallout from the unfortunate death of Adams Mahama has put the NPP in a very, very critical situation. This is one opportunity, or maybe the last opportunity he may have in this present dispensation to convince Ghanaians that they can come together and put their differences behind them, put the seeming percent for violence that has grown in the party over the last couple of months and years behind them, and come out with a set of primary elections that will make them seem worthy of being given the vote. If they get this wrong, if it is characterized by violence, if it is characterized by poor management, very little unity and acrimony and disharmony, all they will do is to seem to be to the general public as a party that is hell-bent on staying in opposition.
I mean, hearing you speak, I mean, I understand that your views might reflect quite a majority of views out there about the NPP. But wouldn't you also say that for the party to have been able to still go ahead to conduct successful primaries mean that they have put behind them the unfortunate incidents of Adams Mahama and already have a unified front?
No, but listen, you were assuming that to say that I'm conducting primaries is enough. That's not enough. You must conduct the primaries. The danger is this, that tomorrow people will come with thugs, people can disrupt the process, the ballot papers don't get there till sometime in the afternoon, and all the other things that have happened in different parties and particularly in the NPP before. So it's they have shown that they are on the way to putting things behind them, but they have not done it yet. To do it tomorrow has to be smooth. To do it, there should be no violence tomorrow. To do it, there should be no interruptions. And also, they have all the parties must sing together and give us an election that is credible. Then we will be able to start to say that whatever happened has been a tipping point, that the death of Adams Mahama has been a tipping point, and the NPP is drawing back from the brink where they got to.
So from all these indications you've given us, what then are your predictions for tomorrow?
Well, I think that I would like to believe that the death of Adams Mahama has scared everybody in the party. That's what we like to believe. It is a hope, because I believe that Ghana deserves two parties who are well organized, at least two parties who are well organized and do things properly. But there is a hope and a prayer we have, and tomorrow will show whether we are right or wrong. My prediction is this, that tomorrow the delegates, having realized how close they got to losing the trust of the public completely, and even of their own membership, will go about the business quietly. That by taking out those 30 constituencies, they have taken out the most acrimonious primaries, and that the rest of them will go about the business in a reasonable way and will elect candidates that will be worthy of being elected into power come December 2016.
Right. I must, Mr. Jackson, I must just interrupt you and say that we've been trying to reach the NPP's Director of Elections, Martin J. Corsa. He agreed to speak to us, but we're not raising him on the line. But when we get him, we will be analyzing some of the mechanisms that are in place to ensure smooth and violent-free elections. I'm sure he's the right person to discuss that with us. But Mr. Jackson, whilst you're there, I mean, we have seen a new breed of younger people expressing interest to lead their constituencies on the ticket of the NPP for 2016's elections. I mean, George Anda is a typical person who rose from the Occupy Ghana movement and is now contesting for the ability to go to Parliament. Now, do you see these trends as healthy, or rather that it's an indication that a lot more people are towing the wrong direction?
Oh, to be honest, I think that is the healthiest development we've had. That younger persons, seemingly people who have put themselves in the business area, etc., are willing to put themselves forward as leaders of this country. I actually wish that they were twice the number, 3 times the number, 5 times the number, so that it wouldn't be just 1 or 2 exceptions, but there would be such a wide swath of candidates who are younger, proven in different fields, in business, in academia, etc., who say, listen, we are ready to come together to fix what is wrong with the country at the moment. Truly, if we had more of them, I would be a far more excited person than I am today.
Right. Mr. Jackson, we're grateful for your time on today's big story. We've been discussing the NPP going ahead of its primaries tomorrow, what's happening in the Ashanti region, Volta region, Aniston region, and we were looking at the national picture. We earlier agreed to speak to Martin J. Corsa, who is the Director of Elections for the NPP, but we were unable to get him on the telephone line. My name is Stephen Anti, and that's where we draw the curtains for today's big story. We'll be right back with Joe News Interactive. Do stay.